Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking something super fascinating, a psychological phenomenon you've probably seen, but maybe never totally understood. When we think of wealth, our brains usually go straight to massive yachts and blindingly shiny Rolexes, right? Designer bags that literally cost more than a house. But today, we're looking at the exact opposite. We're diving into the psychology of stealth wealth, breaking down the 6 weird habits of secretly high net worth individuals. We're going to use the core psychology from our source material to figure out exactly how these folks actually tick. Have you ever noticed someone who lives incredibly simply, yet seems completely unbothered by financial stress? You definitely know the type. They aren't driving the newest luxury SUV, they definitely aren't rocking obvious designer logos, but there's just this profound, unshakable sense of calm about them when the topic of money comes up. It's kind of wild when you first notice it. Like, how can someone with seemingly so little outward display of wealth be so incredibly chill about their financial reality? Well, society loves to just instantly label these folks as penny pinchers, but here is the real game changer. They aren't cheap. They are highly efficient. A low-key lifestyle is rarely about just being frugal so you can hoard pennies. Actually, it's about optimizing resources. It's an entirely different, incredibly calculated way of processing value and processing time. Section 1. The Stealth Wealth Mystery. Psychology says their low-key lifestyle isn't about being cheap. It's a sign of a highly efficient mental architecture. I really want that term to land for a second. Mental architecture. It implies a deliberate design, a structure. These secretly wealthy individuals aren't just blindly stumbling into good habits. Think about how someone with this framework looks at a brand new luxury car. While most people see this glittering status symbol, they see a rapidly depreciating asset that's going to demand high insurance and expensive maintenance. They've built a robust cognitive framework that dictates exactly how they operate in the financial world. Section 2. Efficient mental architecture. So, what is mental architecture? It's the highly efficient internal psychological framework secretly wealthy people use instead of just being cheap. And what's really interesting here is that it proves true financial peace is an internal framework. It is absolutely not an external aesthetic. When you've got this solid mental architecture, your financial decisions aren't emotionally reactive anymore. You aren't just saying no to that luxury watch because you're terrified of going broke. Instead, you're operating from this deeply ingrained psychological system that just automatically filters out anything that doesn't serve your ultimate long-term goals. Section 3. Mastering selective organization. Selective organization is a psychological trait where high IQ individuals ignore flashy trends to focus strictly on internal systems. And hey, when we say high IQ in this context, we're really talking about high financial and emotional intelligence, that distinct ability to master delayed gratification. Think of it like an ultra-powerful mental filtration system. Every single day, we're all just bombarded with marketing, peer pressure, societal expectations, all telling us what we supposedly need to buy to look successful. Highly emotionally intelligent individuals use selective organization to just hit mute on all of that noise. They organize their attention selectively, actively ignoring what doesn't build their net worth. It really boils down to this contrast: flashy trends versus internal systems. Flashy trends are the traditional high-visibility approach to looking wealthy, right? Chasing the newest car, the loudest fashion, the trendy vacation, and honestly, just thinking about the constant emotional energy and relentless spending you need to keep up that facade, it's exhausting. But then you have internal systems. This is the true hallmark of stealth wealth. These individuals are organizing their focus entirely around their savings rate, their investment portfolios, compound interest. They're building lasting wealth quietly where no one can see it, instead of spending it loudly where everyone can. Section 4. Low social dependency. Low social dependency is the ability to build wealth without seeking external validation. This brilliantly illustrates why these individuals can just entirely bypass that exhausting keeping up with the Joneses lifestyle. They simply do not need their neighbors or their coworkers or their social media followers to know they've got money. And this is exactly why the stats consistently show that a massive percentage of everyday millionaires drive perfectly normal used cars and buy their groceries at standard supermarkets. Their ego is entirely detached from what they consume. When you completely remove the need for external validation, you suddenly free up an incredible amount of surplus cash and mental bandwidth to invest in your actual future. Section 5. The ultimate financial freedom. So our source material gives us 6 specific habits of stealth wealth. And now that we get the psychology behind them, we can see they aren't random at all. Let's run through these. Number 1, living incredibly simply.
Since their ego isn't tied to material things, they naturally gravitate toward minimalism, only buying what actually adds value to their lives. Number 2, remaining unbothered by financial stress. This isn't because they have infinite money, it's because their expenses are kept so remarkably low compared to their income, so they always have a massive safety net. Number 3, utilizing an efficient mental architecture. Like we talked about, having a rigid internal framework where every single dollar is assigned a job, turning money into a tool instead of a shiny trophy. Number 4, applying selective organization to money. They are masters of automation. They set up systems that invisibly route their income into investments before they even get a chance to spend it. Number 5, ignoring flashy trends. While everyone else is rushing to buy the newest smartphone or some hyped-up crypto, they're perfectly happy to sit back and stick to proven, boring, but highly effective long-term strategies. And finally, number 6, having low social dependency. They simply do not care if you think they're rich. They would much rather be wealthy and anonymous than broke and famous. These are deliberate, highly intelligent strategies that compound over time, generating massive wealth entirely under the radar.
Which brings us to our final provocative thought to wrap up today's explainer. Be totally honest with yourself here. Are you building wealth for your future or just for your followers? Are your financial decisions being driven by highly efficient internal systems, or are you secretly dependent on flashy trends for validation? It's a tough question, for sure, but mastering the psychology of stealth wealth starts by answering it. By lowering your social dependency and actively upgrading your mental architecture, true, unbothered financial peace is completely within your reach. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep focusing on those internal systems, and I'll see you next time.